And now we're back again. Time to talk about the Screen Actors Guild early predictions here. For the we'll do just the five major categories today. We'll dive into the stunts and stuff probably the next time we talk about the film categories here. But yep, today's video should be pretty straightforward. We're just gonna dive into the predictions here. We'll talk about the five actors or actresses I've picked. Their films and stuff, and all that. It should be pretty quick here. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and dive in, and we'll talk the films that I think are going to do well at SAG. So starting with the supporting actress category, my frontrunner here actually is going to be Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. I think Wicked did very, very well last year. 4 nominations. Was, as I recall, was that tied for most last year? Or did we might have had one ahead of it. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But Wicked for Good did very, very well, exceeded expectations. I had it just getting the 2 for her and Cynthia Erivo, but then Jonathan Bailey got in, the ensemble got in. Yeah, so I was very surprised by that. But this year, I think, Ariana's probably the front runner here, unless they go a little off the board, like if they want to go Teyana Taylor, maybe Elle Fanning, who I, at one point had ahead at the Oscars. Can't remember what I did there. Did I put her ahead still, or did I move Ariana up? I can't remember off the top of my head. It's, I don't know. But regardless, we'll probably revisit those another time. But yeah, Ariana first. Elle Fanning I do have in second place, though, for Sentimental Value. Then I have Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners. I still have not heard anyone pronounce her name very effectively, so I'm not sure if I've got it right yet or not. Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another, and then Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine. Those are my 5. Otherwise, Inga Itzbader Lilius for Sentimental Value is also one. I have her in at the Oscars over Emily Blunt. Otherwise, the rest of the 4 are the same. Just because, even though I think Sentimental Value is going to do better than a lot of international films will here at SAG this year, traditionally they don't do extremely well. It's usually more a domestic thing because the voting block is so based in the U.S. It's with SAG-AFTRA, it's not just actors. It's radio personalities. It's TV weathermen. It's radio folks. It's a lot of people. So with the radio part, that's why I was like, okay, Ariana Grande. She felt like she could have last year actually beaten out. Oh God, who was it? Zoe Saldana. That's right. Zoe Saldana had the win there for Emilia Perez, but it kind of felt like Ariana was close last year. I think she had something of a chance of taking her down. We kind of talked about it because, as I recall, Zoe's film was not up for ensemble. I think that sounds right. Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, those are my 5. Otherwise, some other potential candidates here. If Marty Supreme goes over very well, I know some people are looking at either Gwyneth Paltrow or Odessa Azion for Marty Supreme as well. There's a little bit of a dark horse contention thing happening here for Amy Madigan for Weapons, another kind of horror actress that would potentially break in. I don't know. I mean, I haven't quite gotten around to Weapons yet, but I know there's passionate support for her to get a nomination and everything. Could happen. I think for her, the Critics' Choice is actually going to be up first. If she gets in at Critics' Choice, okay, then we've got something there. She is a past Oscar nominee. That is also true. It'll just be, okay, if she breaks in, like she gets the Golden Globe, okay, then it's like, okay, that's a little, that's something, and that would be with 6 spots. Who knows how many spots Critics' Choice has. And then, then SAG would be a much more real thing for her at that point. Obviously, there'll be almost a full month between when Globe nominations are announced and when SAG nominations are announced. And actually, as I recall, aren't the Globes going to be handed out before SAG nominations are done? Or announced, I should say, as well. I think that's right, but yeah. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, you could have a kind of off the wall pick here as well. If Jennifer Lopez gets in for Kiss of the Spider Woman, that film has just largely been forgotten. It was, real box office disappointment. Not that it went like super wide or anything, but that one has just, I think, been really skipped over by a lot of folks. So I had that one as kind of like a possible spoiler as well here, but I don't think it's going to happen. Next up is supporting actor. Here I have Stellan Skarsgård still as the placeholder here. I have him at the Oscars as well as kind of a placeholder for sentimental value. Then Paul Mescal for Hamnet, and then both Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. And in the fifth spot is Jeremy Strong for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Those are my five there. With this, I feel like this is, pretty solid. I have Delroy Lindo getting in at the Oscars in place of Jeremy Strong right now. So again, 4 out of the 5 carrying over here. Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly is very possible as well. Don't forget he is a SAG nominee for, what was it, Hustle or whatever it was called. The basketball film here a few years ago that was also on Netflix. Jay Kelly is also on Netflix. So that very well could happen, especially if he does, get the Golden Globe nomination and the Critics' Choice nomination. Again, depending on how many spots they have there for both those categories. Once we start whittling it down to 5, then we'll see if Sandler can hang in there or not. But some other possible candidates. Jonathan Bailey, this is the spot he broke in last year. We'll see if he can do it again, maybe. I still want to say Miles Canton is someone I would like to see nominated. I think of the performances from Sinners that are in supporting actor, his performance was probably my favorite of the 3 that are probably likely to be considered, whether between him and Delroy Lindo and then Jack O'Connell. But yeah, I would say Miles Canton is the one I would really like to see nominated. I'm trying to think who else here. I know Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein is one that's bandied about, but Frankenstein maybe has an off chance at getting the stunt category, maybe, possibly. Otherwise, yeah, I'm like, well, Netflix, obviously Jay Kelly, feels like that would be the spot where because SAG almost always gets, 1 or 2 big representations from Netflix in there. And I just don't think there's a ton of passion out there for Jay Kelly. The other big, I think, event film from Netflix this year that I think has something of a shot at getting a lot of nominations is Frankenstein. That one will really, I think, clean up in the tech categories and get a bunch of nominations there. But I don't sense that it's like a huge threat for like ensemble here at SAG. Elordi's performance, I haven't heard anyone say it's like off the wall, off the chain, fantastic. I've heard good things about it, but I just don't know if he can break into a field here that's already gotten kind of to the level it's at. Best Actress is up next. Jessie Buckley I have out front here for Hamnet, then Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, Emma Stone for Begonia, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, and in the 5th spot I was really close to dropping her, and that's Renee Renvie for Sentimental Value. Again, just because I'm not sure about the international performances here. Again, the track record is not all that fantastic. But that being said, I looked around and I'm like, I think her film is going to be more widely seen and stuff. So I think so, yeah. So I have that one in. Now, this all being said, Sentimental Value, again, because it is an international film, sometimes they break in, kind of like Parasite did. They get the win, the big one at the end of the night for ensemble, but it's not nominated anywhere else. So you don't really have a lot of track record for through the rest of the night to kind of sense the momentum building for that film to win ensemble. Sentimental Value, I think, is one that, it's not going to be extremely easily accessible for everyone. Like, it's not going to be on a Netflix or an Amazon. So even though I have it pretty high up in a couple of these other categories, I would not be shocked if this thing gets maybe 1-2 nominations, misses out for ensemble, and then, something else takes its place. I'll revisit that here in the next few weeks, and I'll kind of figure out where I want to go with it. But for now, I had these 5. Some of the other contenders I looked at, probably Amanda Seyfried, who I have in place of Rose Byrne here. Again, 4 out of 5, carrying over to the Oscars. Seyfried, I think, will be close. The Testament of Anne Lee is one that I think will be more accessible than some of these other ones, potentially. Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. I'm still really shocked they're going lead for that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the film really, 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 really goes over well with the voting body, then okay, I guess that one has a, something of a shot. Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. That'll be a later December release. Sometimes we saw those struggle with SAG, but now with the voting not completed until like the last week of December, maybe the very early peaks of January before final voting has to be in. That gives a lot more time to a film like that, a film like Is This Thing On, which traditionally I think would have been looked over by SAG entirely and probably wouldn't have had much of a chance if it was, nominations were mid-December, which is going to be around the time that film opens. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, she does have some TV credits, obviously, so you can't count out Sydney Sweeney just yet for Christie. Julia Roberts for After the Hunt. She's done some TV stuff on top of all her filmography. And yeah, possibly even Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love, even though that one and Christie both have not done extremely well in their kind of moderate releases here in early November out the gate. Okay, we'll move on to Best Actor now. My five here are Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Jeremy Allen White for Springsteen, and Dwayne Johnson for The Smashing Machine. Those are my five, and again, 4 out of the 5. Wagner Moura is the one I have missing here. I put him in at the Oscars for The Secret Agent, but again, with the international film track record here, this was one place I hedged the bet, and I said, no, I don't think he'll quite carry over. If he gets the SAG nomination, that is massive, 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 and look for him to actually be a real dark horse to possibly win this category at the end of the day at the Oscars, but obviously we got a long ways to go. But for Timothée, I just in the last couple of days here, they released a new trailer for Marty Supreme. This second trailer, or third, or whatever, this one got me a lot more invested. This was like, okay, I kind of see, a little bit more of some of the dynamics of Marty when he's person to person, talking with people and stuff. So yeah, with that, I'm like, well, I'm not to the point where I'm ready to like push it into like picture, director, some of the supporting categories, a lot more of the tech categories. Because right now I have it in for screenplay, Timothée's lead performance, and the cinematography. I don't have it in anywhere else just yet. But, it's one, yeah, I could push it into picture. I could push it into some of those other ones. I'm just going to hedge my bet just a little bit longer, probably hear just a little bit more, because we had the one screening at New York, and really all the buzz about that was like, Timothée is phenomenal in this. And yeah, seeing him in the trailers for this and everything, kind of seeing his style and everything here, it did make me excited, because I'm like, yeah, this is a completely different type of character than what we saw with Bob Dylan, playing another real life figure in a kind of, biopic type film. This looks, very different from that. So, hats off to him. I think, he's obviously a very, very talented young actor. He's actually just a few months younger than I am. But, yeah, he has shown a lot here in the last couple, 2, 3, 4 years. And, yeah, I think he's going to be really good. Now, I can definitely see him winning again here at SAG. He did just win last year for Complete Unknown, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Michael B. Jordan, he could win. Leo's already got his SAG, so they don't need to give him another one. And I think One Battle After Another is, it's, again, a solid performance. I wouldn't put it as, like, career best or anything for Leo. Jeremy Allen White, I like his chances here even more so than I do for some of the other categories. Like, I can definitely see him missing the 6 at BAFTA when we get to that. Because, again, American songwriter thing, and it doesn't look like it's going to be like a Complete Unknown, which really did well across the board when we got to a lot of the inside awards, the industry awards. That's what I mean to say. So when it got to the different technical branches and stuff for their awards, like the guilds, the various guilds is what I want to say. Then we saw Complete Unknown really come out, got the SAG nomination for Ensemble, got James Mangold in for DGA, and then he ended up getting the Oscar nomination on top of it. Did well at BAFTA and everything. It's like, yeah, if I don't see Springsteen following in that step, so I can definitely see him missing the. I think he'll be on the long list for BAFTA. I just don't think he'll make the 6 right now. Would be my guess. I think they'll go with Wagner, Mora. I think would be a stronger bet there. Jesse Plemons might break in there. Daniel Day-Lewis, Joel Edgerton. A couple of these other guys, I think, stand a better chance at breaking in there at BAFTA. Possibly even Brendan Fraser could get in there. He's a name we haven't really talked about much in the last few weeks here. But anyways, getting back to this though. But Jeremy Allen White, having all the TV time that he has and everything with The Bear, and maybe one or two other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. He's been around enough where I think, the voters, they know him, they know his shows and stuff, and I think enough of them, will have seen Springsteen and everything that I think it can still get in. And I like him and Jeremy Strong both getting in together on this kind of deal. And then Dwayne Johnson, for Smashing Machine. I think that one, even though it's A24 and they'll be more pushing, I think Marty Supreme by that point. And obviously with the real disappointment with the box office there, critical reception was still pretty good for the movie. I was okay with it. It wasn't, a huge favorite of mine or anything through the year. But I think with that, I think he's also a guy that I can see him on the campaign trail a lot. So SAG voting and everything, I can see all the screenings, him being at a lot of them and everything, as busy as he is. I can definitely see him benefiting from all the in-person campaigning and all that too. So yeah. Otherwise, for some other possible break-in contenders, we named a few of them here. Some people are really high on Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. He is a previous nominee, in acting and in screenplay, if I'm not mistaken, as well. That could happen. Will Arnett for Is This Thing On? That's possible. George Clooney for Jay Kelly, if that one goes over really well. Hugh Jackman for Song Sung Blue, possibly. So I think we covered majority of them there. Yeah. And last but not least, for film ensemble, I have One Battle After Another, Sinners, Wicked for Good, Sentimental Value, and Marty Supreme being my 5. Now, I did go Marty Supreme here over Hamnet, and everyone's like, well, where's Hamnet? Again, I just have a feeling, having not seen it, isn't that basically a two-hander? Isn't it just Jesse Plemons and, Jesse Buckley and... wrong Jesse there, sorry. Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal. Isn't it just those two, really? Like, those are like, when we see the advertising and stuff, advertisements and the posters and everything, it's just those two. It's not like a huge ensemble. Again, I understand there's more people in the movie, but I just see it kind of struggling getting into ensemble with just those two real standout performances. Marty Supreme, though, is a little bit deeper in there. You do have a former SAG president, Fran Drescher, who's in the movie. That really, really helps it. On top of, having Timothée in it. Possibly it could break in for one of the supporting categories and everything. So, my big worry right now with these 5, though, because the other 4, again, sentimental value could fall out, and we could see maybe Hamnet take its place. But the other thing I'm like is, where's the Netflix love here? It's like, I'm just not sensing it, because, again, Jay Kelly has really faded since its debuts. A House of Dynamite could be a real surprise nominee here. Frankenstein for ensemble, I just don't see it. I'm just not sure. The Netflix love, I think, is going to come more from the TV side this year, I really think. The other one, of course, and probably the one I would say, if it's not going to be Hamnet, it's not going to be Sentimental Value, who that 5th spot would go to if the other 4 I have are right, it probably would be Wake Up Dead Man. That could be kind of a slightly off the wall pick. That one is a Netflix one. It's a much bigger ensemble. It's all that. But I'm just going to hold off on that one for now. I could drop Sentimental Value and put in Wake Up Dead Man. That's probably my next move, because again, I'm just not super convinced that Hamnet is going to make it. Otherwise, some other ensembles here that are actually decently sized, like we have Weapons, actually has something of a decent size ensemble, but that one's got a big hill to climb. Nuremberg could be kind of a dark horse. I mean, if it's one that if the voters just see it enough, just enough of them see it, it's got a decent enough ensemble that could break in. Song Sung Blue, possibly. Phoenician Scheme, maybe. I mean, that one's, after the summer and everything, I just feel like, again, I was very, very down on that movie. I was not a fan of that movie. I was just really, just could not dig into it again, and I was like, it's just, Anderson's just really, really, really repeating himself, and I was like, I'm just really kind of done with him right now. But I just felt like it was just the same as what he's done with his last few films. if the voters feel that way too, then yeah. And even then, he hasn't been like a slam dunk to get a SAG, his actors nominated every last time for ensemble. So, all right. So yeah, I think that's all I got for now. So, so you can tell, yeah, there will be love if my predictions are correct here. A lot of love for One Battle After Another. Sinners will do pretty well by my estimations. Just a couple nominations there, but I can see that one being like a sneaky one for the stunt category as well. One Battle After Another could be a sneaky stunt category nominee as well. Again, they really like to put, if they can, one or maybe two film ensembles in there as well into that stunt category, if they can make it, if it makes sense. Or maybe Wicked. I have to remind myself here. Didn't Wicked get the stunt ensemble last year? I'm trying to remember here. Hold on. Because it got the 4 for the other categories. I'm just trying to remember if it got stunts too. It did. That's right. Okay, see, it ended up with 5. I think it was the most nominated film last year, as I recall. Let's see. I think so. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else here. I think again, Hamnet. I think it could max out at 3 if it gets that ensemble, but I think really it's really looking at just the supporting acting role and the lead actress role. Marty Supreme, I have that one getting a couple. Springsteen and Smashing the Machine, I have getting a couple. Yeah, it'll just be, again, how widely seen will sentimental value be by that point by the voting body. And again, I could switch on that, and I think maybe in the next few weeks I will, really re-examine that and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking now, and again, switch, maybe again drop, maybe all but 1 or 2 of them, If it goes 0 for whatever, just gets nothing from SAG, that would be a little strange, considering that, yeah, it does seem like a likely contender in director. Seems like Best Picture is pretty good. Seems to get 3, possibly 4 acting slots. Screenplay feels good. International film, it should be in. So it feels like one that'll be well represented at the Oscars. And once in a while, you get some of those like 1917, and part of that was probably the release of the film and everything, but it was like that one couldn't even get in for the stunts, even though, I understand why it was probably not going to be, the biggest candidate for that category and everything, and that ended up with 10 nominations at the Oscars, and it got a goose egg at SAG. So we've seen it happen before. All right. I think that's all I got for now. So yeah, that's all we had for SAG. We'll probably take a little bit of a hiatus here for the next few weeks. Probably nothing until the other side of Thanksgiving, unless we get some breaking news, something that's, kind of an emergency, like, oh, we got to talk about this, like, let's say the first reviews for Wicked come out and everyone's like, oh, it's garbage, it's the worst film of the year. So if it's something really, distressing like that would, upset a lot of the current votes and stuff, or where I've got some categories and all that, then we'll talk about that at the time. But otherwise, I think that's all we got. So we will probably, again, see you in a few weeks here. As we get closer to the Golden Globes, we'll revisit those nomination predictions one more time, at least. And and then the critics groups will start sounding off there in early December as well. So it'll pick up, just probably another, like I said, probably at least a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, where we'll take some time off here, and then we will be back.